Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to some more home defense testing. And today we've got another combo that we have not tried yet that should give us some really nice looking results. I've got some high expectations for it based on what I've seen from these shells in some very similar configurations previously. It should give us a very nice, very usable home defense type of pattern. But for the shells we're going to run today, I brought out some of the good old Federal Premium personal defense shells. These are copper plated pellet and they have a flight control wad, so they should give us some very nice patterns. But they are a 12 gauge 2 3/4 inch 9 pellet double op buck shell, moving at about 1145 feet per second. So definitely not quite as hot as a typical flight control or copper plated, more hunting oriented shell. So this should be a very nice performing load. But as for the shotgun we're going to run them through today, we got one of the most basic, bare bones, common home defense type of setups you can run, that being a classic Remington 870. This is not a special purpose or a police magnum or anything like that, just your good old Remington 870. But it's got a nice short stubby 18.5 inch barrel on it, smooth bore obviously, and a straight up cylinder bore choke, so no constriction at all, just your bare bones defensive oriented type of setup. And it should do well with these flight control wads in these Federal loads. So as for today's test, I've only got one box of those, but we should still be able to use them like we typically have done in these defensive oriented tests. We'll take 5 shots. We'll start at 7 yards, then go to 10, 15, 20, and 25. 7 to 25 should give us a very good idea what these are capable of through a shorter barrel defensive type of setup. Any closer than that, and we're going to do nothing but punch one hole through the paper. I think we all know that. And out at farther ranges, you start to tote the line a little bit of the self-defense claim or whatever. There might be a few scenarios where you might need to take a longer shot, but 7 to 25 should be a pretty good middle of the road range for just about every situation you would realistically come up on for the vast majority of people. And of course, all of our shots will be through the chrono as well, so we can get our velocity from this shorter barrel. So enough talking, let's head down here to our targets, take all of our shots, and see what the Federal Premium personal defense loads can do that are copper plated and have the flight control wad. I've got some high hopes for it, but let's take our shots and see what they're capable of. Alright, let's take a quick peek at our velocities before we go look at our targets. The boss claim is 1145, and I think we were pretty much floating just under that, but still relatively close for a short barrel like that 18.5 inch is. So we had 1106, 1125, 1112, 1099, and 1108 for an average velocity at 1110, so 35 under their claim. That makes sense. That's pretty consistent with the fact that they probably tested those through a 20 inch barrel, and we have an 18.5, but still low 1100 mark. Very much so good enough to get the job done for a defensive scenario, and they're not super hot in the recoil department either. So nice velocity, but let's see what kind of a pattern they gave us. Alright, so now we're down here at our targets, and let's check out what we actually got at some different defensive ranges. We'll start over here with our 7 and 10 yard papers. As you can tell, my art skills have not improved any, but over here at 7 yards, it's all pretty much one big splotch, and we got a big wad strike right in the middle of everything. So about the best measurement I could get is 2.5 inches at 7 yards. Still absolutely deadly, no doubt about it. Gonna get the job done, no surprise there. At 10 yards, we did open it up just a little bit there to 2.8 inches, and at least now I can actually see all of our pellets, but we do still have that wad strike over there as well. Either way, 7 and 10 yards, if he's in the same room with you, absolutely good enough. No surprise there. That's exactly what I expected to see, and I'd say looks more than good enough. Now we're over here with Mr. Hallway Henry. If you got to take a shot that's a little bit farther down a hallway or down to the bottom of a stairwell or something, about 15 yards is probably that number. We had all 9 pellets right there through the neck area. And yes, this shotgun does shoot a little touch high. I was aiming low, but I'm still getting used to it, and I should probably put a red dot on it anyway. But all 9 pellets gave us 4.9 inches. Still absolutely deadly, no doubt about it. Hallway Henry is going to be no more. Now we'll move over to our 20-yard paper with Mr. Porch Pirate Patrick. If you got to take a shot off the porch, or he's out there running down off your porch steps or something, you've still absolutely got a good enough pattern to get the job done. And yes, I was aiming almost towards the bottom of that torso. So this combo just hits high for whatever reason. I was not going for a headshot, but we can see all 9 pellets right there. However, we did start to throw a flyer or 2 in it out here at 20 yards. The farthest distance across, including the flyer, is now 8.4 inches. Meanwhile, the rest of our cluster up here is at 5.4. That's kind of been a common theme with a lot of flight control loads. Pretty much no matter which version or which choke I try them through, they like to throw a flyer or 2 on occasion. Still, absolutely good enough to have all of your pellets right through your center mass of your chest cavity or something if you needed it. So Porch Pirate Patrick, absolutely dead. Now we'll move over here to Car Thief Carl out at 25 yards in the driveway trying to steal the F-150 or something. And once again, we did open things up. Our main portion of our pattern was 6.7 inches. However, we clearly threw a flyer way over there above his shoulder all the way out to 10.6. So still absolutely capable enough to 25 yards for somebody out in the driveway or out trying to get into a barn or a garage or something like that. More than good enough to get the job done. And I'm saying with that kind of a pattern, even if you throw a flyer or 2, you're going to be fine at 30 or 35 and probably even 40 as well. If for whatever reason you would ever need to take a shot out to an outbuilding or something that might be a little farther range, you can make the choice on if you take the shot in that situation or not. But at least at 25, you are more than capable enough with this combination. And that's about what I expected to see, really. Didn't do anything surprising, threw a flyer or 2 here and there. Very much what I expected to see out of a federal flight control load. And here are a couple of those flight control wads. Very much the standard that you always see. Nothing out of the ordinary. Nothing stuck down in there. No major damage. They are a little squished because they did hit the actual targets down here, which are hardwood pallets. But other than that, very much normal performance. Nothing out of the ordinary. And they did exactly what I expected them to. Alright y'all, well, what did you think about this combination right there? I would say absolutely more than capable of being a good home defense setup. Whether you're in the same room or got to shoot out to the driveway or something like that, absolutely capable enough. And that's a short 18.5-inch cylinder bore barrel, so that's as bare bones as it gets, and you've still got more than good enough performance. That's very much what I expected to see out of this combo, even down to the flyer or 2 here and there. Very common for these type of shells with the flight control wad, and just kind of 9-pellet double out in general. That's not too surprising either. I do like that it's a little bit lower velocity than a regular hunting style load or even the Hornady critical defense shells. It gives you a little less recoil, a little less noise, maybe a little less penetration as well if you're worried about over penetrating through something. But if you're looking for a perfectly even spread without throwing any flyers, or if you're looking for a little bit more stomping power, then probably the Hornady critical defense loads are going to be your preferred option. I would take either one hands down, no doubt about it. But leave all your thoughts down in the comments. Is that about what you expected to see? Were you a little surprised one way or the other? Have you tested any of these federal premium personal defense loads that are copper plated and have the flight control wad? And if so, what kind of results have you seen? Is that a combination that you would ever use for home defense, or do you use a combination like that for the shotgun that sits in the corner? And what other defensive style shells do you want to see us run through that setup? Let me know all that down below. But with that being said, I've got some more testing to get done for you guys, so I'm going to get back to it. As always, you have the channel Instagram as well as the mailbox where you can send stuff if you'd like. All the information will be in the description if you're interested in it, but I'm going to get back to it, so I'll see y'all in the next one.